Liam, Chelsea, Manchester United, David De Gea. This is really, as someone who's been, we've all played, the game, to see someone going through this. He's been Player of the Year for 4 of the last 5 seasons. He is, at his best, a magnificent goalkeeper. And yet, another mistake yesterday, a real shocker yesterday, after 2 dubious ones in midweek rather. What would you do, Liam? It's very hard. Some people are saying that Solskjær should give him a rest. Others are saying, he's been such a great keeper. Now, the other issue there is he's in contract negotiations. He sees Sanchez come from Arsenal, 550 grand a week. He sees Pogba on 280,000 a week plus bonuses and all kinds of incentives, and he can't get a deal with the club. That may be part of it. It may be just the poor defence in front of him, but it's very sad to see, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you see, we discussed it during the week, and we were trying to come up with the reasons. And you mentioned maybe it was contract negotiations that was making him make these mistakes. I don't think so. I think he's lost his confidence. He's lost his, as they say, he's lost his bottle. Anytime a shot comes at him now, he's kind of thinking, "I'm not going to save this." He's lost his confidence, Eamon, and I think that particular save yesterday, or non-save yesterday, was a confirmation of that.
Would you give him a rest, Liam?
Yes, absolutely. And I thought Solskjær showed his naivety yesterday after the game when the guy said, would you not think of leaving him out? And he said, no, absolutely not. He's been great for, this club for the last 2 or 3 seasons. But that's gone. That's history. It's what he's doing now that counts. And at the moment, he's letting goals in left, right, and centre, costing Manchester United dearly. So he needs to be taken out. I don't know whether if he does take him out, well, that'll be it, the end of trying to re-sign him. But it's a bit like the conversation we had the other day, whether Solskjaer's got the backbone to do what Ferguson did when he came in all those years ago, or whether someone with that kind of inner confidence and inner strength as a manager is going to be able to handle all these problems. I thought that was naive as Solskjaer to say. He said, "Look, I'm not going to discuss that here and now. I'll think about things going forward." That's all he had to say,
Yeah.
But it was almost like he's cowering to the players, which is a bad sign.
Right, John. Would you give him a rest? And would you? The reason I think it's to do with his contract situation, and he's not the only one. Herrera is also out of contract, and Herrera was a real star for Solskjaer when he first got the job, and is a tough lad, but shows a bit of leadership, I think. He's another one. Rashford is another player in contract negotiations, and when I say in contract negotiations, none of those players are getting much joy. At the same time, Pogba's swanning round the place on massive money. Sanchez came on against Manchester City for 12 minutes, 550 grand a week, touched the ball once. I think that it eats away at someone like De Gea. Look I've been here 5 years. I've been Player of the Year 4 years. I've been inspiring. I've made this. I think it eats away, and your concentration levels drop, and there's a bit of discontent, and it's hard to. It's something you can't prove because you can't see it, but I think it might be.
Well, it might be. I don't quite believe that.
Right.
No, I think he's a professional player, a real good pro. Okay, he's not getting as much as the others, but he's still getting 180 or 200 grand. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's a question of money at this particular stage with real pros, and I think he's a real pro. It's a lack of confidence for some reason. We don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the negotiations that's the cause of it.
Well, how about if you're getting 350 grand a week less than a guy who's sitting on the bench and comes on the pitch and only touches the ball once?
Yeah. Well, Eamon, that doesn't affect, in my opinion, that doesn't affect players doing that. Do you know what I mean? That's.
Yeah, but I just think it eats away. I
don't agree with that. Okay, that's your opinion. I don't agree.
Well, it all depends on the individual, John, doesn't it? It all depends on the personality. Yeah. Probably aiming it either way at John, but we'd get going with it. We'd keep going with it.
You would certainly eat away with my fucking concentration. If I'm looking at Pogba strolling around the place, issuing.
That's not a money issue, though. Well, that's not doing this.
This is what we're talking about. This is why the whole thing needs sorting out. He needs sorting out. Arsenal, we've got the same problem. We've got Ozil strolling about the place.
Yeah, it's 350 grand,
400 grand a week. We've got Mkhitaryan is on 200 grand a week. He's not made a tackle since he's been at Arsenal. So, that needs sorting out now. It's whether the manager, with the help of the club, is going to be able to do it. This is the question.
Yeah.
After our conversation during the week there was a lot of newspapers saying, well, will they sell Pogba? Will they, has he got to go? He has got to go. Get him out. Get him out. He's no good to the club. Ozil, get him out. He's no good to the club. He had a foot injury yesterday. Every time we go away past Watford Gap, he's got something wrong with him.
Okay. But the thing is with that, Eamon, as well, like if you look at Solskjær, it all comes back to the managers in the particular clubs, whether it be Arsenal and Solskjær is a new manager to Manchester United, and he's in this difficult situation with the negotiations. I don't necessarily agree with you on the reason for De Gea's fault. So it can happen. I think he's lost confidence. There's no doubt about that. But what was amazing the other night, in the match from last week against Manchester City, he made, I think, 5 or 6 changes the other night.
He made 5 changes for the Wednesday night match, the game against City, and he made another 5 changes yesterday.
Yeah, so a lot of the players that he left out, like Lukaku and Matic, Herrera. I don't know if Herrera was fit. Mata, but they all came back in.
Yeah.
Now they're not He's not rotating the players because there's nothing to rotate for at the moment. So what it tells me is. And people said last week, I think Liam said it, you might have said it, does he know his best team?
No, he doesn't, hasn't a clue.
That proved it the other day because the match against City was dramatic changes, then more dramatic changes, and it still wasn't a good display. So at this stage, after the amount of time that he's there, I know they're not playing very well. He should know his best team.
Okay.